Hello, 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 and welcome to Shared Space. I am Laquita Chansey. I'm here with my brother from another mother, Chap Bo. How you doing today, Chap?
All is well. Hey guys, welcome. Thank you for tuning in, or thank you for checking in after the fact. Welcome. If you guys are watching live, feel free to comment. I guess, allow me to introduce myself. I'm a full time volunteer chaplain for Baltimore City. We are professional volunteers. I'm a part time actor. And yeah, that's me.
Yep, and I am Laquita Chansey, the founder and director of Baltimore Homes. And we build micro shelters and tiny homes for folks who are unhoused. And if that's not your thing, we can do something else. We can do some urban planters. We can talk about coming to walk with the doc. We have a walk coming up on Sunday, 9:30. I'm
Lake
trying to
Montebello.
think. Lake Montebello. It is free 99. We'll have a little light breakfast, some breakfast bars, some fruit. We do some mindfulness, some stretching, walk around the part of the lake that we're able to walk around because there's a sinkhole, but we make it work, y'all. We still get the job done. And then we, have our community conversation. We see who we're out there with, and we do it every first, third, and fifth Sunday. And I'm out there probably all the other Sundays, even if it's not the first, third, or fifth. I just get there at about 10 o'clock. So we're always out there, always wanting to move around. And yeah, so those are, I guess, the basic announcements that I have right now. Come to walk with the doc this weekend. Sunday, Lake Montebello, 9:30. Go ahead, Chad.
No, I'm just going to add to it. Like you guys, come check it out. You're definitely, if you're not coming, you're definitely missing out on some great fellowship, some really great conversations with other community organizers and activists, as well as members of the community who are like really smart. They've been around a while. They know what they need. So like, plug in, man. It's a really great fellowship.
Yeah, it's
And
a good look.
yeah, and so like I'd like to invite our guests that are on today as well. Come walk with us on Sunday. We'll get you out in time for church, hopefully. Maybe not though. Can't promise you. But yeah, if we can welcome our guests. So today we're gonna be talking with Coach Duncan, one of his board members and his director. I'll allow you guys to introduce yourself and please introduce the organization you're representing, Coach.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening, Chap, Miss Quita. Good evening as well. Good evening. My name is Tagana Duncan, known as Coach Duncan. I'm the executive director and founder of Stepping Towards a New Destiny, or known as STAND Mentorship, where our mission is to enrich the lives of young men through educational experiences. The whole purpose of this is that this will have a rippling effect in their lives, that for generations to come, that we will see change within them and that they will go back into the community and create more of that change that have started within themselves.
All right. And who are the young ladies you brought to the show this evening?
I'll introduce them by name, but they can tell you a little bit more about themselves. We have one of our board member, the lovely Michelle Miles, known as Purple Lady. She could tell you all about that. Let me tell y'all something. She is the biggest Ravens fan of all time. Hands down, she's the biggest Ravens fan. And then we have Miss Krishna Miller, who is our program director, who came in, joined us. Her grandson is in the program. He's now 13. I coached him in football when he was 5 years old. So that's how long I've been in that young man's life. And she's our program director. She came aboard and she's been running. And I mean, she have not stopped. And I will fight anyone that gets in the way to try to slow her down for what she does with our program. So,
Right.
Michelle, we start with you. You can tell a little bit more.
Yes, I am. I consider myself a techie grandmom. I retired from Baltimore City's Youth Works program, the Mayor's Office of Employment Development, after 32 years of service. And I was fortunate because I'm going to say this assignment has been a God ordained assignment. In all my years of working, I was never a part of anyone's board. And when I retired, I said, Lord, I have more to give. And I know you're going to direct me where I need to go. And it wasn't a month later that Coach came to me and said, hey, I want you to be a part of my board. And when he said that, I was like, okay, I'm in. because God, I asked you for this. So I'm excited about working with Tagana and our program director. And I just know that we're just one of the many, many opportunities that's going to be bursting out for all the young men and young women in Baltimore City, because they need us.
I love all of that. Thank you for sharing. And Miss Miller, tell us about yourself. How'd you get plugged in with Coach?
So just as Coach said, Coach had a meeting last year, I believe, over the summer, where my grandson comes to my house each summer just to spend the summer with me. And I was just dropping him off. And I saw the great work that Coach was doing with all the young men there, and was, I guess, started on a voluntary basis, just, what can I do to help? And was asked to join as program director. So it's been a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful experience. I currently am working with Baltimore City Public Schools in the Office of Research and Accountability. I'm an assessment specialist. So when I'm not doing that, I'm working with the STAM mentorship program, coordinating monthly events for all of the boys in the program, working with the parents to get them more engaged, to tell them about the program and how getting them involved in the lives of their young boys will definitely make a difference and help with ensuring that our boys don't become some of the statistics that we see on TV today and on the news. So it's just been great being a part of this program, as I said, and working with Michelle and Coach Duncan and all the many beautiful boys that are in the program. And it's just wonderful just seeing them on a monthly basis and getting to know them. It does feel like a family. It's just a great environment. And Coach has a heart of gold, as I will tell anyone. He's definitely done a lot in their lives. And I feel a personal connection because I've seen the difference in my own grandson.
Wow.
I just need to add one thing. She said she started as a volunteer. She's still a volunteer. She is not getting paid for what she does. So that's
true.
No, and we understand that.
Do a lot of things. So I just want to let it be clear. She is still a volunteer. She gets no ducats for all the work that she does.
Okay.
No, that's important to communicate that, because a lot of people we're out here working out of pocket, and at some point, our work goes so far, but at some point we've got to find a way to let people know, like, hey, this takes money to maintain and sustain. So, like, show me the money. So that's kind of, part of the reason you're on here, guys, is hopefully we'll talk some more about what you've been doing, different stuff you have going on in the past, looking forward. And you can share this with people and hopefully, let them know, like, this, all the great stuff we're doing. A little bit goes a long way if you guys can support, because a program director is like another full-time job you're taking on. I can't do it. Promise you, I can't do it. Like, I'm the guy, like, the program director's like, hey, I'm the guy you call when you need something clutch, but, like, I can't do that. It's a whole job, man. So I appreciate that. So let me ask you guys, what's coming up next, or most recently coming up? What's the next thing coming up for the boys with the mentorship program?
So last Saturday, I'm glad you asked. Last Saturday, we closed out with Learn a Trade. So we had engineers, plumbers come to the main office and learn how to actually cut pipe and how to put together the pipe and to glue it, and just learning those type of skills, because we realized that not all of our boys are their, I guess, educational path will lead to college. And so we thought it was important to expose them to different trades. And so they really enjoyed that experience. Our upcoming events that we have a parent night tomorrow night, where we have invited all of our mentees and their parents out to the Orioles game at Camden Yards. So we're looking forward to that. Next, after that, is our boys of the STAM mentorship program. We will we'll compete against Level Up basketball team. There's actually another boys mentorship program. Our middle school boys We'll challenge them on Saturday, April 29th at Reach Partnership School in Baltimore City under the direction of the principal there, who is Dr. James Gresham. So we're happy to be hosting it there. So come on out 2 o'clock on Saturday, April 29th. Tickets are only $5.
Oh man, let's go. And that's a way, guys. You can plug into the boys, watch some of the work that's happening, watch the relationships that are being built, and support.
Yes.
Awesome. That's awesome. Thank you. I'm sure Rhonda McKinney had something to do with pulling that thing together. So a little shout out, Miss Rhonda, if you're watching later.
Right.
Man,
So how do people get the tickets though? If people want to support, or I mean, just go and buy a ticket, even if you can't make it. And then in the comments, put that you're donating the ticket for somebody. I don't know, but give the money, people. How do people give the money for the ticket?
Absolutely. So they can go to standmentorship.org and can donate directly from our site, or they can also use Cash App $Stan Mentorship.
Stand Mentorship. All right. I like it. I like it. And so, in addition to the program that you have coming up, what are the typical type of programs or resources that you all need for the boys or the programming?
That is a really good question, and thank you, Chris. So again, Chris explained everything that we have so well. One of the things that we try to do is just stay in contact with the boys as much as possible. So we're always looking for motivational speakers to come in and share their stories. Everyone have taken a different path. Some has not always been on the upright, but at some point was able to turn themselves around. So if there's someone that says, hey, I would love to come in and talk to your boys, they could also go to the website and send us a message. They can contact us on Facebook, Instagram at Stand Mentorship as well, or info@standmentorship.org. And just send us a message and say, hey, we would love to come in to participate. I actually received a message last week from one of the college that said, hey, we see what you all are doing. We would love to bring your group in for a college tour. So that's something else that if there's any organizations out there that say, you know what, we would love for your group to come do a college tour with us. That's great as well. The other thing is just the community service that we do. We actually, one of the things, and Chap have known this, before the pandemic started, all we did was mentor boys. We took them out of town. We took them on a lot of trips, a lot of college tours. We did a lot of seminars, a lot of teaching with them. When the pandemic hit, at the time, I was a Baltimore City school teacher. One of the things that I said, hey, my kids aren't eating. And I love the McCullough Homes area. That's where I do most of my work. I said, these kids aren't eating. Schools are closed. How can we get them food? I contacted people like Chap and people like from Be More Community Foods and all of these people from PowerFest Lewis and all of these guys. We got together and we got out into the community and began to galvanize food with different partners for our families. We actually spoke with Chap. I spoke with the founder, JC Falk from Be More Community Foods the other day. And one of the things I said, hey, man, we need to celebrate you. You have given us 3 million pounds of food over 3 years that we have gotten out. We need to do something for you. A lot of these families that had lost their jobs during that time was able to get food. And I'm not just talking about fruit and bread. This was steak and chicken and anything that you can go into the market and purchase at the time. We was able to get it to those families. And that work still continues every single Friday in McCullough Homes, as well as different areas in Baltimore City. We was the only individuals that was actually passing out Lysol to families during the pandemic when you could not find it in Walmart and nothing was being sold. We sold nothing. We never took a penny for any of the work that we did. So that's one of the main things as well that we do into the community. So, and a lot of our boys at the time loved being in the community as well. So we have graduated from just doing mentoring to reaching into the community to trying to meet the needs of the families as well.
I love it. I love it. And so I have a few follow-up questions. So you mentioned folks coming in and telling their story and, speaking about what they've been through, is this just opportunities for men, or can women come and speak to the boys? How does that work? Because I could definitely talk to some young men about what I've been through, even though I'm a woman, but I don't, want to. So I'm going to go on mute. Go ahead and tell me.
Ms. Quita, we would love to have you in. And Chris hear you, so she's going to contact you. We would love to have you in. No, it's not just men. So in May, we're actually planning a Mother's Day brunch where we do have women that are coming in. That is our speakers for that, where we're honoring the mom. And Chris, you can actually tell them more about that.
Yes, that's exactly what was on my mind. So we're having a Sheroes brunch on May 20th, Saturday, May 20th at noon, where our mentees are they are honoring the women in their lives that have made a difference. And so at that brunch, we have Lisa Calicia, who is the author of No Parent Left Behind, who will be speaking. We also have Charmaine Turner, who is with Sigma Gamma Rho, who will be speaking as well. But we would love to have you join us on May 20th as part of the Sheroes brunch to speak to the women who will be honored. And we also have delicious chicken and waffles as well. So
I like chicken and waffles, and whatever's on my schedule will be cleared. I'm there. Thank you.
Wonderful. We would love to have you.
I love it. I love it. And so that was one of my questions about the women. And so now these college tours, or tours in general, like, they're not free. So how are these tours working? You telling people, okay, just tell us we're invited. How is that funded? How are the boys and you all getting to and fro the tours, and how does that happen?
That is actually an excellent question. So what we have done is all of our funding has come out of pocket. So we have not received any government grants for any of our work at all. If they actually go to our Facebook page, I actually posted an ask today for individuals to donate $5 towards our basketball program. I would like people to remember that this is a free program. All of us are volunteers, myself, our board members, our program directors, every last one of us are volunteers. We have not received any money from any of this work that we have done. So now we're asking for individuals to actually donate, and we have a campaign right now just to donate $5. And if they go to, they can donate it to Cash App Stand Mentorship, or to go to standmentorship.org, and like Chris said earlier, just click right on the donate page and donate. So we just have to remember that we're doing our best to support these kids. We're keeping kids off the street. We're keeping kids. And let me say this to our listeners. What makes stepping towards a new destiny unique is that we don't have a group of kids this year, and then next year we have a different group of kids. And then the following year, we have a different group of kids. That's not how this program works. The youngest kid that enters our program is 5 years old. We stick with the kids all the way throughout high school. Last year, October, we had a lot of our kids that went on, well, they're adults now, that went on to the Air Force. They went on to college, that had came through the program where we actually honored them, and they came back and spoke. And they're actually coming back this weekend as well to volunteer for the basketball game. So once the kids go through our program, they then become mentors at 18. But we stick with them throughout life, where they may need our advice. They may need our help with things. They may need resources for marriage counseling, whatever it may be. This is a lifelong program. That's what makes us unique. The effectiveness of our program is that what we give them today, we can give them tomorrow, we can give them a month from now, we can give them a year from now. That it's a lifelong process to change. So that's what makes us unique. So when you support us, the same kids you support this year, you're going to be supporting next year and all the way throughout their life. So that's what makes us unique as a program.
I love that. I love that. And did you want to add something, Miss Michelle? You came off mute.
I did want to add, because if Coach could, he would do it all. That's just him. He would do it all. He can't do it all. No one can do it all.
We
But
don't
we
want
need,
coach doing it all, because then you pouring from an empty cup and now you're not
absolutely,
full. And that's why
absolutely.
I keep coming back to the money, because the money makes it
The-
sustainable. Because even if you all are like, we don't need the money, we're going to show up altruistically, let's start getting the boys paid. Like
yeah,
somebody at some point, you know what? I'm sorry. Go ahead, Miss Michelle.
you right there with me. So I wanted to add to his ask, not just, that part, but we need folks that are proficient in writing grants. If we can get someone that's a grant writer, then that part is taken care of. We want to add to the board. I love being the only board member, but I can't do it all. But we want people that have a passion for youth. I mean, I know there are other grandmoms and granddads and uncles and aunties that would want to come because they see what we're doing, that they have that passion, that they want the young men to succeed. So we ask that you contact us, get in touch with us. Hey, I have something to give. If it's not money, it's time. It's I know someone who can do X, Y, and Z. So we're definitely looking for additional folks to help in those areas, as well as the real mentoring. And we really want to be able to get specific mentors that are going to meet the needs of all of our young people. That's all I had to add.
That was plenty and perfect. And you just come off mute if you want to say anything else. Okay, so right. So now we understand the college tours need to be funded, y'all. We know gas is not cheap, neither is insurance. So we want to protect everything and make sure that all the folks are okay. We want to put some feelers out for board members. And one thing I will say is that Innovation Works, I tend to plug them on here. They are a social enterprise, like mentorship program. They'll give you a free mentor. I'm working with them now to figure out some developer folks to get on my board for my nonprofit, because now we're finally ready to build. We've made enough community touches, and now we're trying to have a there, something to point to and build up. But Innovation Works would be a great place to get some mentorship and or just board members or what have you, and that's free, 99, because that's all we're talking about here, okay? Unless the money's coming to y'all. So there's that, and then there was another resource. Associated Black Charities. Twice a year, they allow for nonprofits to speak to folks that go through their board member accelerator. So they have a 4-month board member accelerator. At the end of it, they have a list of nonprofits, and you just join the list and you say, hey, I'm looking for a board member of this type of characteristics, and they try to pair you up. And sometimes there's a mixer, because now that the world is opened back up, it's probably going to be in person or something. But Associated Black Charities and Innovation Works would be some free resources that you can get some impact from today if you were to reach out. So yeah, Chap, did you want to add anything or say anything? I feel like I've been pulling y'all through the ringer.
No, it's all you tonight. You want it. No, I am just listening. I'm just listening. You're asking all the right questions. They got all the answers, man. I want to add, Miss Miller was sharing about the trade classes. Those are fantastic, because even if the boys don't go into a trade, what do you do when your pipe bursts at the house, right? How do you change a faucet? How do you replace a toilet seal? Like, those are basic things that you can pay hundreds of dollars for, or fix for less than $50 if you have the information. So that stuff is so important. Because it's funny, because around the house, I have all that information, but I drag my feet on it. I don't know why. If one of you guys called me, Coach Quita, if they were like, hey, my pipe burst, I need help, man, I'll run and help you, stop by Home Depot and everything. But if my wife's like, hey, can you fix a toilet? It'll take 3 months. I don't know why.
It's
Just
the
being
privilege
transparent.
we have to put it at the back burner, right? Like
Right,
you
but
can think about it later while we thinking about it all day. We don't know how to fix this. When is this pipe going to stop dripping?
just to
But
say that
yeah, I agree.
that's important information, and the stuff Quita's teaching at Dent, like those things are, even if the kids don't take them and run in the direction you expect them to, like that's valuable information, and they will come back to it at some point in their life. So that's really cool. I would like to empower you guys too as you're leading these young men through through a struggling education system on their journey. Empower them and encourage them to find a way to have their voice be heard at these school board meetings that are open to the students. I like the fact that I heard you guys say you engage and invite the parents on these things, because a lot of times we're watching schools close and different things, and different things are happening where the city hall is really bullying our students in the schools because there's no parents standing up for those kids, regardless of why. Right? We can figure out why later, but like whether it's a single mom or somebody's locked up, or it doesn't matter the situation. The fact is that our parents in these communities don't have the capacity to make a stand for their children, and so you guys stand mentorship, understanding that empowering the parents is going to help the student or the child. Like that's very significant. So I appreciate that you guys share that insight as you approach mentoring young men in the city.
Yeah, and so my next question is about how many boys would you say you all typically work with or are working with presently? Because I know people come and go, right? But
No, that's actually a good question. So right now we have 25 boys. The reason why we stick to a small group of boys is because we try to have as many mentors, 1 to 5, to actually work with the boys as well. That's actually active. So that's one of the other things that we are doing as well, is actually looking for mentors, like Ms. Michelle actually mentioned. But the effectiveness that we do, we can have 200 boys in the program, but how effective would our work be if we just continue to grow and not have a foundation laid for these boys when they're coming in, that we're actually keeping up with? So again, it's not just that they come into this program, but there's weekly check-ins. We check in with them, we check in with the parents, we do school check-ins with the boys, we sit down and talk with them. Chris is actually creating something called an individual action plan, where we're going to be meeting with every individual parent and create this plan that this is what we're going to follow. We're meeting with the parents and we're going to say, hey, this is what we have aligned. We have talked with the parents. We're saying this is what you feel like the kid needs help with. We also talk with that child. We get them involved and say, this is what you're saying you would like to work on as well. This is what we're going to work on. We set goals. When we was doing our Monday meetings, we set the goals with those boys and asked them, well, what is it that you want to do? And how long is it going to take you to accomplish these things? And that's all part of our effectiveness of having a smaller group of boys that we are keeping up and we're tracking what they're doing. So right now we do have 25 boys. The other thing that we do as we begin to grow, we will continue to tap into the Hispanic community. Right now, we have most of our boys are African American. We have about 3 of the boys that are mixed, one parent white, one parent black. So we are multi ethnicity. It's not just all black boys that we work with, which we would like people to understand. We work with all races of boys. The other thing too, tomorrow night for our family night out, we have invited 100 individuals from the Hispanic community that is going to be with us. Last year, we gave them 75 tickets for our family night out, and they bought 75 people. So this year, we gave them 100 tickets, and they will have 100 people there tomorrow night. So we also
yeah,
will be
I love that.
expanding as we continue to grow into the Hispanic community as well.
I love that. I love that. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. So, okay, you came off mute. Go ahead, Chris.
And just piggybacking on what Coach was talking about as we expand and work to build our relationship with the Hispanic community, we do have an education and outreach trip planned for June, the end of June, the 23rd through July 1st. So we're just planning this trip. It's education and outreach in Puerto Rico, where we want to take our boys to underprivileged communities in Puerto Rico where they can give out school supplies, equipment, because the boys in Puerto Rico, they like baseball, things like clothes, shoes, things like that. So um, we're going to have, I guess you would call it like a clothes drive, or something like to get equipment from the community. And we want to take that equipment with us to Puerto Rico and spend a week there handing out those supplies, working to clean up schools or paint schools or plant trees or whatever it is that they need from us. So we're working with a community director who's going to let us know what the community needs and how we can be of support. Also, while our boys are there, we would like them to learn about the culture. So we're hoping that they can learn the language. Now, we're not expecting them to come back fluent in Spanish, but they can definitely get the basics. Also learn about a little bit of the history of San Juan, visit Puerto Rico, different communities there. And at the end of the day, then they'll be able to visit the beach. But we want it to be a learning experience and also an opportunity to see others that are less fortunate than they are, so they can be grateful for what they have, and find a way to provide to others that are in need. So we are very excited about that, but that's our next, we'll need to have a fundraiser or, pour out to the community for some support for that effort.
I love that. Travel is my love language. Coach, I see you came off mute, but I need to just run this back. Like, what? We're going to Puerto Rico. We are painting schools. We are getting the culture. We are like working with other communities that may not even speak the same language that we do, but we're going to figure it out because that's what we do, right? Like, I just love this so much. Oh my goodness. We're going to have y'all back on once you get your flyer together for the fundraiser, because, like, if you want to give some money, this is what we're going to give the money to. Okay. So put it aside and know that we're coming back. What do you want to add, Coach Duncan?
Thank you. I was just going to say, some of these kids, the only time they have left Baltimore was to go to DC to the Smithsonian or on one of the trips to school. We are taking them outside of the United States at a young age. You got to remember, most of our boys are in elementary, middle school. We may have had 2 or 3 that's in high school. So imagine traveling outside the United States at such a young age. We are developing.
I know what it does.
Yes.
I get to tell stories to my friends about how my grandmother was in the Black Caucus, and every year they would go to Puerto Rico when I was in elementary school. And that's before they were a part of the US. So I had a whole passport, and me and my sisters are in elementary school going to Puerto Rico. Like, yeah, we're going with the Black Caucus. Don't know what we're talking about, what Puerto Rico is, or the Black Caucus, the significance of it, or anything. But when we would tell adults, they would light up. And so we knew this was some big stuff. We don't know what it is, but look at how the adults love it. So I know now, like, what that can do for a child's confidence. Just being able to talk about, yes, I went to Puerto Rico. And even if all they remember was some coconuts or a palm tree, that was something that they know is not in Baltimore, and they can speak to that. So go ahead, Coach Duncan. I'm going back on mute.
No, thank you so much. No, you're absolutely right. Again, the goal is just to expose them to as much as possible. Many of them have not been outside of Baltimore. They have not been, some have not been, they live in West Baltimore, have not been to East Baltimore. So just to really expose them to these things. Again, most of the times, the only time they have left was we took them when we went up to Rutgers in New Jersey, or we went to Delaware, we went to Philly for the day. All of these are things that we do. So now, post pandemic, we're saying, hey, we visited the other states. Let's begin to visit other countries and do things and have that outreach and develop that at a young age. So, like we said earlier, there are no grants associated. We're not saying we don't want the grant money. We're just saying that we have not received any of the grant money. So even as you all are listening, all we're asking is individuals to donate a minimum of $5. If you have more that you would like to give, and reach out to family members. Look, I told Chris the other day, I said, I have over 900 phone numbers in my phone. I'm beginning to call individuals and say, hey, can you donate $5? We don't need 10. We don't need, we'll take the 10 and the 20, but a minimum of $5. They're just saying, hey, this week I'm not going to get that sandwich that I want, but if we can do something to keep these kids busy this summer, you know, that would be great. So that's just what we're asking. If you all that are listening to just donate a minimum of $5, that would be great. And also, those of you that want to get in contact with just mentoring on the board, you can send an email to info@standmentorship.org, or send a message to us via Facebook or Instagram.
So I have a question. You guys had mentioned the family fun night tomorrow night. So what is going on there? What are people signing up for when you gave them tickets out?
Come on, Michelle. This ain't the Ravens, but I think you like the Orioles just as much. No, she doesn't. But tomorrow night, tell them all about the.
There is no other team besides the Ravens, but we love the Orioles.
Okay.
Because in Baltimore, Tank, everybody. We love Baltimore. Everybody that comes from Baltimore, we love them. They rep us. They rep us. But yes, it's an opportunity for young men, young boys, and their families to come and watch the great Orioles that are doing so well. We might even make it all the way, right?
Yes, I'll say it. I'll say it live right now. We're going to the World Series, man. I have never seen nothing like it. Yeah, they're doing things.
Wonderful, wonderful. So it's just an opportunity for them to come and watch the game. We have an opportunity to take some of the young people on the field so that they can be a part of the batting practice. That is going to be awesome. I have an 8-year-old grandson who's in the program, and we've been enjoying the activities. So tomorrow he's going to sling the bat, throw the ball, something. We'll figure it out.
Man, and let me speak to that. Like you talking about travel, Quita. Let me speak to how important that is. When I was a kid, we grew up over in Northeast Baltimore, Parkville. We used to go play soccer over at the schoolyard, Villa Cresta, where two of the Baltimore Blast, two of the guys, the Russian guys, Stankovic and Stamenkovic, both owned houses behind us where we used to play, and they'd come out and play with us. I'm talking like 5, 6, 7 years old, right? So growing up, we were always plugged in with the Blast. We were always playing with those guys like they were our peers. Fast forward to like my high school career, when I was a freshman in high school, growing up playing with professionals or having that experience or that access to the field, right? Or just swinging the bat with a professional for a day, something like that was so significant. Like it drove me in that direction where I was a freshman in high school getting college varsity tryouts up and down the East Coast, across, I couldn't go across the nation because I didn't have the money, but we could run the Iron Corridor. And, as soon as, a couple of my buddies had their licenses, we went on road trips for soccer because somebody, a professional I had access to. So in that moment, so going on the field, meeting somebody like that, like when I was a kid, I met Pele. And if you don't know who he is, shame on you. He's the greatest soccer player ever lived. And I met him. I shook hands with him. My pastor at the time, we could do this back in the 90s. He came to the school, said there was a family emergency because he knew I was a soccer guy. And so they let me leave with my pastor. He took me down to Harbor. We cut school that day, and I met Pele. And then he brought me back in time for the soccer game at the end of the day. And we played Calvert Hall. And at the time I went to Concordia Prep, which used to be known as Baltimore Lutheran, which I succeeded in getting kicked out of. But long story short, like Calvert Hall having a great soccer program, they were our biggest rivals, and they like never heard of us. But the day I met Pele, they heard of us because we beat them in a shootout, right? So it was like all these little, like those things matter, man. Those little magical moments matter. I find myself, when I was a kid, I hated it. My parents made me sing with a group the national anthem a couple times at Memorial Stadium, and I was in this choir that my parents made me do it, right? We sang it like the lyric. We sang with the BSO at the Meyerhoff, and like at the time, I hated it. I wanted to go play video games, wanted to go hang out with my buddies, right? But now as an adult, I can say like, holy crap! Like I sang the national anthem at Memorial Stadium. I've been on stage at the lyric. I've been in the orchestra pit, and like going back and revisiting those spaces, having those memories matter, right? And so as the kids get older and they go back and they take their families back to Camden Yards, they
Right.
get to tell them about that time that they were on the field swinging the bat. Like that's so amazing.
Right, that's my point. Like at the time, they may not understand the significance of it, but looking back and after talking to people who are older and wiser and seeing their response, it's like, oh, maybe I did something big. So you never been to Puerto Rico? You never been on a plane?
I never been to
Oh,
Puerto Rico. Shoot.
oh, well, I did, and we did
Right.
this, and we had fun while we were there, and have a whole story to tell. Like I can't wait to get some of the kids on to tell us about the trip to Puerto Rico.
Yes.
So that's 2 more times y'all been invited back. Okay, 1 to fundraise, and 2 to bring one of the kids on to tell us about the trip. So we're gonna find out how to make that happen. Yeah, so that's great. So what else we got going on, y'all? What else can we fundraise for? What else we got in the works? Tell me some more.
They got the you guys doing the father-son game this year?
Yes, I'm glad you asked that. So we have the father-son game planned for June 16th. So we are working on the logistics for that game. We're very excited about that. Coach can tell you more about it because it's something that takes place annually, and the community looks forward to it.
I think Chap, if you can tell us from your experience, Chap has been there for the last several years, so I can actually tell about it. But Chap, if you can tell it from someone that actually
Sure.
have been there and that have seen the impact of it, that would be great.
Sure, man. Privilege to do so. So I can't say how many years, maybe 5-ish. I think I've known about it. I've been visiting Coach. I think that's one of my first memories of you. Is definitely either we met there or we met during COVID. But going to the father-son basketball games were phenomenal. You're talking, if you guys are from Baltimore, McCullough Holmes area. There is no lack of need in that area. So down Pensy Ave at the end of Pensy Ave and Dolphin Street, man. He's every year around Father's Day, and I think now accordingly to, as Juneteenth becomes more popular, we're celebrating that in a blackety black neighborhood, man. And you see sometimes here's what I so I'm trying to think of what to bring to the table as my perspective, and I will say this. A lot of times black men get written off as abandoning their families, not being involved with their kids, this and that. And let me tell you that when Coach Duncan does his father-son basketball games, there are times, I think every time, you have more fathers show up than kids, because we understand that not everybody has a dad. And so he'll have volunteers show up on the father's team or on the mentor, the father's side. They show up deep, man. And, you might have 25, 30 kids or something, and you got like 150 dads in the neighborhood showing up. So that's something that's significant that I noticed and really changed my perspective on the narrative we hear in the news, or the rhetoric and the crap that they spew. Black men show up for this game, and I've seen it, and it's amazing. And one of my favorites, so here's one of my favorite experiences was, I think it was 2 years ago. The sergeant for the Central District was the referee. So he had his bulletproof vest, his utility belt with his tools, his uniform, right? He just squeezed into this too tight referee shirt over his whole uniform, grabbed the whistle, and he's refereeing, right? But he is cheating like a mug for them kids. And although it's silly and fun, I thought how significant for at least a day, at least for a couple hours, these kids have the police on their side, backing them up no matter what. That shit is important. That is an important narrative to see play out. Pardon my language, but like how empowering, like you the little kid getting bullied by the dads, but nope, give him the ball. Nope. Like the police got your back, and you can't say nothing because it's a sergeant. He's got a gun. Like it's funny. We joke about it, but like really like sitting back and watching that, it was like very significant watching the kids be empowered and watching them joke around and build a positive relationship with a police officer in that moment. And you know, they may or may not know, like Officer Lee pitched in, and I know he helps you out with that. No, it's a really great scene, and that's probably my favorite moment was 2 years ago on it, because I don't think we had him coaching, but he's always got a comedian out there. You know, he's got a hype man comedian on the mic, so he's talking, commenting on the game, which is great. He'll have some really great performers for a little halftime. Some local artists will come out. But the referee, man, Sarge, I wish I remembered his name, but Sarge was great, man.
Oh, that was Sergeant Davis. I think he's like Captain Davis or something, Lieutenant Davis or something.
Yeah, he's an LT now. Yep.
Yeah, but he was Sergeant Davis. You know, the funny thing is, I'm gonna tell you, we used to let these boys win. We used to let these boys win, but these boys we're no longer letting them win. They've grown up now. A lot of them are now in high school, and these are big boys. And
Yes,
last year, I'm gonna tell you, it was a competition. It was a competition. News Channel 2 always comes out. We always get Nick Mosby, Councilman Nick Mosby. He came out last year. He takes the first shot.
He's out there consistently. I will say that. Yep.
Yeah, we always get a lot of support from a lot of the mayor, a lot of We Are Us, a lot of their guys support us as well. You know, so there's a lot of support that just goes into this game. But I'm telling you, one of the things last year it was a real competition. Before, the kids was in elementary, middle, but as we go on, these kids are in high school now, it comes down to the wire. And last
you're
year,
gonna need to pay the ref. You're gonna need the ref on your side, Coach Duncan.
That's what I'm saying. Last year, it was a competition. I mean, it was like we was battling it out.
But the men are a lot older too. They weren't in shape. I'm sorry to say.
Yeah, we wasn't.
The men weren't in shape. They weren't ready for the boys. They didn't know. They thought they still had the elementary kids, because those boys. I wish you could see. They were like,
These boys are in their prime, and y'all are out there with your dad bods.
I got that old man strength. Don't sleep on it.
It's supposed to be fun until the trash talk starts. That's when it turns into, listen, we're going to win. But at the end of the day, you know, one of the greatest things that happens is that we are bonding with the boys. We're building relationships. And in this, we actually get men that continue relationships going into a lot of the schools. Like, again, one of our biggest supporters and partners is the men from We Are Us, all of those guys that actually, that's funny. Oh, yeah, you got to ice them knees at the end of the night. You definitely do. You might even have to call off of work the next day. But we do build a lot of relationships. We get a lot of vendors. If any vendors would like to come out for that day as well, again, send us a message. Send us a message. We'll be in contact. Any resources that you all can provide for June 16th or any other time, if you have any type of resource, like Michelle said earlier, grant writers, anything that you would like to do. I didn't get to read the full message, but someone was talking about a crab feast. Yes, I saw crab feast. I saw a 15-passenger van.
That's true.
We need both. We need crab cakes, and we need.
And I wanted to comment on that. I know we got a couple minutes left. I wanted to comment on that is that one of the biggest obstacles for all of us as we serve youth in the community is transportation. Right. I know that I'll give a shout out to Board and Transportation, because they're always been referred to me. They don't give it away for free, but they can discount and help out nonprofits that are in good standing. But really, it's a big obstacle, man. And so something simple like, you know, donate a van to Stand Mentorship. That'll change how they operate for real.
Absolutely.
And I wanted to share one thing before you guys close out with your last words, Ms. Miller, is that what was I thinking of? When you guys sit down and do the dream sheets with the kids, man, dream big. Because we know, guy, like if the kids want to be a movie star, like I can show them the path. I can get them on set, get them started. Believe it or not, like I accidentally figured the hustle out for acting, so I can get them acting jobs. You know, if they want to do trades and stuff and build, you know, they can talk to Quita, they can talk to Miss Monique. But we have a great village, and no matter what their dreams are, you know, we can show them the way. We can show them the blueprint, man. Like, and that's the truth. Like, if they say I want to be the mayor, say no, you want to be the president of the UN. Like, just go big. Let them go big.
Absolutely. And that's what we tell them and encourage them on a daily basis. There's nothing with beyond their reach. Anything that they can dream of, they can achieve. So, yeah.
And say the email address one more time.
Info, INFO at stand, STAND, mentorship.org. Info at stand, no R, info at standmentorship.org.
Yep. Excellent. And so we have about 3 minutes or so. So we have the May 20th event coming up. We have the June 16th event coming up. And what else? I feel like we talked about 3 things.
The Puerto Rico trip. And that's, we're looking at June 23rd through July 1st.
Wow.
The basketball game is Saturday.
Okay. Wow.
The basketball game this Saturday.
Oh, and the basketball game this Saturday.
$5, Reach Partnership, 2 p.m.
2 p.m. Level Up versus Stand. Another great organization, Dason Brooks, that's doing excellent work in Baltimore as well. I love the work that he's doing. So we're actually partnering with him this Saturday.
I might have to steal that Puerto Rican Community Connect because I got 50 kids in Bel Air Edison we've been teaching Spanish to since August. And we're looking for an opportunity like that to send them over and serve in the context of what they're learning.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, man. Like, right now I'm going to dabble. I'm going to push them down Southeast. There's plenty of Spanish speaking people there that we can serve. But something like that, like you guys are doing, would be, again, as we all know, it will be life changing. So congratulations on the work you guys are putting in. I know
so Able Foundation, Casey Foundation, like cut the check. Chat got 50 kids. They got 25 kids plus the mentors. 150 people need to go to Puerto Rico. Make it happen. Come on. Somebody got the money. Make it happen.
Come check us out. Come see what we do. Set up a meeting. Come see what it is that we do.
All right, guys. We got to hop off. Robert's going to be on in like 30 seconds. We love you. Thank you for your time. Can't wait to have you guys back. Appreciate you, man.
Appreciate you.
And I already told y'all coming back. We got all the dates set. All right.
Thank you.
If we can just correct the Instagram, it is _ at standmentorship.org.
Copy that.
Underscore at standmentorship. Yep.
But if you guys Google,
get it up one more time with the right thing.
Underscore. So it's
and then
underscore.
We're gonna end the broadcast. Underscore stand mentorship.
Yep. Underscore at stand mentorship. There we go. Thank you all so much. I appreciate y'all. Much love.
All right.
Bada bing, bada boom.